All right, welcome back. Episode 97 of the Scarlet and Blue Show. We're coming off quite a weekend of football. Garrison Dean, one
Yes,
where
we
I
are.
been feeling good. So we'll dive into that here. Episode 90.
Look out now. The sideline. Forget about it. This baby's over.
Oh, my goodness. One man. Goodbye. Hello, Heisman.
And most especially in 310 days in Ann Arbor, Michigan, on the football field.
Another block. One more. He's got it. Touchdown. No flag.
Samuel cuts it back. Ohio State wins.
Here's the run again. Donovan Edwards. Whoa. Can they catch him? No. Donovan Edwards again. The down.
All right.
Hey, Bryce, I truly hate how great Gus Johnson's call was on that Donovan Edwards touchdown. I really do. It was such a great call.
It really was. Yeah, but you know what? Chris Fowler's call on Samuel's touchdown run was also good, too.
Oh, yeah.
Those are just two great calls.
Best at what they do, those two.
No doubt about it. Those crews, Chris, Kirk, Joel, Gus, it's top-notch stuff.
Screw Kirk.
You guys. All right, hey, you know where to start. Stock to bar. Go get yours today. Delicious vodka. Smooth taste with a purpose. They donate a portion of every bottle sold to the Boys and Girls Club. So go get yours at stocktobar.com. All right, Garrison. You guys, quite a game yesterday. Fun game. Fun game. We got a lot to talk about, so the floor is yours.
So last episode, I said that I wanted Chip Kelly to show his worth. He must watch the show. Yeah, he has to. He has to watch the Scarlet and Blue Show because, doggone it, he showed his worth. I'm gonna be very honest about this. I can care less about what anybody outside the Ohio State fan base thinks about this win. You know, and just as I predicted and expected, right after the game and even today, I've watched different other shows to see what they said about the game. And right on cue, everyone is making this more about James Franklin and Penn State when they should be making it about the Ohio State Buckeyes and what they did that day. In the first quarter, they got to a very quick 10-0 lead. Will Howard throws a pick. I don't really blame it on him. That was just a great play by that DB. We've ran that play multiple times this season, scored 2 long touchdowns off that route concept. That kid's been watching film, as he should be. He saw it coming, made a play. And then we responded. And then we responded again. The offensive line played really well, I think. On PFF, they didn't grade out that well. I think that Chip Kelly's scheme kind of hid some of the deficiencies in the offensive line, but they played very well. Donovan Jackson played very well. He did give up 2 sacks, although those 2 sacks did come up when they put him one-on-one with one of the best edge rushers in college football, who's going to be a top 10 to 15 pick. But outside of that, he did very well.
They chipped in most of the game, didn't they? They helped.
Yeah, they did, and just as they should have, the rest of the offensive line, man, they did great. I did not expect that offensive line to play that well. Last week, I said Ryan Day gave some coach speak, saying that he thought the offensive line was going to play well. And I said, okay, well, if that's the case, if you're going to give that coach speak, I want to see it. And we saw it, especially more so in the second half, and even more so in those last 2 drives. And actually, since I brought it up, no, I'll get there. That interception by Davison Igbinosun.
Oh my gosh!
When it happened, they said touchdown. Like, in my mind, I thought it was going to be a touchdown too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw him come up with the ball. I was like, huh? I said, No. And as soon as they showed that replay, I said, "Oh crap, he picked it off." I think that was our third defensive stand this season on the goal line, or at least within the 5. So with that being said, no one can say this team isn't tough. It takes a tough team to be able to do that.
Yeah, talk about the 2 stands. So the first one was the end of the half, and the second one was Penn State's last drive of the game, or second last drive, consequential drive of the game. And yeah, the Igvinosa pick was banana lands. That was insanely impressive. He's a player
after he got beat.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, that's right. He's a player that Michigan fans and we're supposed to not like, but I can't help but like that guy. I think he plays spirited. He plays hard. I think he comes up to make hits, but then obviously he can make plays in coverage. An impressive play. And then, the other goal line stand was the 4 downs that
there's a lot that went into that.
Well, yeah, the last stand, I think the first 3 plays, they sent the guard from like that slot or receiver, not the guard, sorry. They sent the defensive lineman in motion every time, and you guys still snuffed that out. And they ended up getting like a foot or maybe a yard or so each play, but it wasn't enough, obviously. And it was one play where their center was sent into the backfield where the motion man was coming. It was crazy.
Dude, that was all right. That was Caden McDonald, right? When he committed to Ohio State, I thought he was one of the most important pieces in our recruiting class. He wasn't a big 5-star, but he was a well-wanted player out of the state of Georgia. Big kid. And Tyler Williams, came out the game. And on that play, I saw that guy get pushed back. And I said, "Oh man, wow!" And the reason I said a lot goes into that is because I think anyone would be right to question the play calling on those 4 plays. I think anybody.
Good conversation.
It wasn't. Those weren't 4 good play calls, but especially the last one. But
the last one was terrible.
Oh,
you might as well run the same thing you're going to run the first 3.
Yeah, it was awful. And to be honest with you, after that long run by Tyler Warren, I don't understand how you can go those first 3 plays and not find a way to get your best player on offense the ball or not. In my mind, I thought, okay, they're going to tie this game up. I said they're going to put Tyler Warren at running back or quarterback at some point on these last 4 plays, and he's going to get the touchdown. I just being a reasonable fan or reasonable football watcher, I would think that, but they didn't do that. But where I was happy was that over the past 3 years, with the narrative of Ohio State being soft and how we don't stop the run game, anyone would think, Bryce, that Penn State was going to run that ball in on Ohio State, based off the knowledge of the last few years. But as you know, I always say, last year has nothing to do with this year. For us to make that stand, man, I couldn't be any more proud of these Buckeyes. I mean, on the first few drives, Penn State did get some stuff going. I did not expect Drew Aller to run as much as he did. I guess he wasn't as hurt as everyone thought so, because eventually he did take off the brace. Our secondary was locked down. Now, Penn State doesn't have the greatest receivers, but they only had 3 receptions. Their receivers had 3 receptions in that game. The secondary played, like I said, the secondary played really well. I thought the linebackers played well. D-line did their thing. I saw Ohio State get back-to-back sacks, and I thought that I was in a different world, because I haven't seen that in so long. Like, Ohio State getting back-to-back sacks, my goodness. I thought that our depth pieces played really well. Mind you, on that touchdown, Bryce, to Brandon Ennis, who I'm very high on. I think he's gonna be a great player next year for us. None of our starting receivers were in that game on that play. None of them.
Really? I didn't notice that.
It was Jaden Ballard, Ennis, and shoot, forgetting his name. I should know it. But none of our star receivers are in that game. And I love how our coaching staff is so confident in our team and our wide receivers and our quarterback that we can go and put our backup wide receivers in and get that and play the game. Mind you, but like I said, Chip Kelly in this game, we kept running that pitch to our running backs on that touchdown to Ennis. Fake the pitch. He came across the middle, got it to him, boom, touchdown. I'm just very proud of this team. Oh, by the way, haven't given up a offensive touchdown to Penn State in 8 quarters now. Shout out to Jim
insane.
Knowles.
That's stupid.
But like, I'm looking at this, and I mean, what, Drew Aller 12 for 21, 46. But this is how you can't win a game. Your tight end, granted, it was on a 33-yard run for the 47. Your tight end can't be your leading leading rusher, and your running back can't be your leading receiver. You're not going to win a game like that, especially against an elite team like Ohio State. Quinshon Judkins, 14 for 95. Travion, 10 for 54. Both of them over 5 a carry. And that last drive was, I think that's going to set the tone for the rest of the season for us. You get the ball on the 1-yard line with 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the game. So usually you would think that the other team's probably going to get another chance. You would think that. 11 straight runs down their throat. Sorry, that it just, and when you watched it, man, they couldn't do a doggone thing about it. They couldn't do a thing about it.
Go ahead.
And I mean, and on that last one where Will Howard ran the ball, I'm gonna be honest with you, I wanted him to take it all the way because it looked like he could have. Like, in my mind, I saw that 70-yard touchdown run he had against Texas, and he had the blocks. I'm like, Will, please just do it. Just go for it. But he took the slide, as a good bet does. When it comes to Will Howard, I'm very proud of him. This was his worst game of the season. His worst game of the season comes at Penn State, one of the top 5 teams in the nation. But he made the plays he had to make. And what I love about him so much is that after the game, as he has done every game, even when he plays well, he gives the credit to his teammates. That's what he does. When something goes wrong, he takes the blame for it. Even when it's not his fault. That pick is not his fault, but he takes the blame for it. And he's a 1-year guy here, and he's already a program guy. That's what he is. He's an adult in the room. And you got to love it. I don't mean to bash anybody, and we don't have to say names, but the guy we had last year, he didn't take the blame. He wasn't the grown-up in the room, and that's what we have in Will Howard. And his teammates love him, and for all the talk that Will Howard got before the season, the negative talk he got, those guys fight for him. Every single one of those guys in that team fights for him. It just a great win by this team. Again, the game could have looked better. Jeremiah Smith stopped running on that pass. That would have been a clear touchdown that Will Howard threw to him, but he stopped running. And he probably did that either because he lost the ball in the sun, or because Will Howard has a tendency to underthrow balls. And at that moment in time, he did it. Oh well. Will Howard fumbles that into the end zone, the touchback. So I mean, the score wasn't indicative to me of how that game really went. We dominated Penn State in this game. We dominated them.
Yeah, I thought your coordinators, both coordinators, came to play. I thought Jim Knowles called a heck of a game. I thought that Penn State tried to get a little too cute, but that doesn't take away from Knowles. And then I thought Chip Kelly was in his bag, and it was funny. There was a point where Will Howard threw the pick six. Of course, all the haters are jumping on him. So I say, oh yeah, Will Howard for Heisman, and then he comes back and leads 2 touchdown drives, 2 touchdown passes, and then he had that turnover, which kind of salvaged it. But like, if he didn't have that turnover and they were scored again, then there was a different narrative that was forming. So credit to Will, and then credit to Chip Kelly. I thought he was just the schemes The
Yeah.
Ennis touchdown pass was one of those where I thought after that you saw, all right, this guy is in control of this game. There's nothing Tom Allen can do. There's nothing like he's going to just call these plays and he's going to set it up the way he wants to do it and get the results he wants. And we saw that.
Yeah. And you got Ryan, and oh my God, that 4th and 1. Oh. And first,
Was that the throw to the tight end?
Yeah, the Jelani Thurman.
Yeah.
And once again, Ryan Day, clearly he knows what this season is. He puts him on the table again. As Donovan Jackson said at the end of the game, we just had to drop our nuts. And Ryan Day does it again, goes for it on 4th down. We get it. And actually, let me go back to something what you were talking about with the coordinators. We also talked about on our last show, I brought up how both coordinators, that's who's going to win this game for these coaches. I thought the coordinators are going to win this game for them. For both of our coordinators to outclass theirs was huge because Kotelnicki is a good offensive coordinator. Tom Allen's a good defensive coordinator. Didn't matter.
And shout out your O-line too. You got it. You have been hating on that guy all season and all offseason.
Yes, I have. Josh Fryer. Now listen. I give most of the credit to Chip Kelly because of how he schemes up the plays with his O-line. But Josh Fryer is an O-line coach, and I would be dumb to say he doesn't have some say-so in who came in that lineup for the offensive line. They put together the best unit they could have, win against one of the best defensive lines in college football. And that second half, they ran down their throat. Now, in the first half, I think we only had like 45 rushing yards on 15 carries. But we could see in the first half, we can run the ball. We could see it. And, 176 rushing yards, I believe, on 4.4 carries. We ran the ball 40 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said this. If Ryan Day knows he can run the ball, based off what I saw in 2019, he will do it. And in 2020, he will run the ball if he knows he can. And, it's what a win for these Buckeyes. In 3 games, you go to Oregon, lose by 1. Then you go to Happy Valley, and like I said, though the score doesn't show it, you dominated that game. And you could have played better, and that's the best part about it. That was a B+ game out of us. And B+ out
of the offense, right? You're saying A+ defense.
No, B+ as a team. I thought there was I don't think Penn State should have been able to drive as much as they did on us, though we did get the stops at the end.
All right, that's fair.
But I think the fact that we were able to go into Penn State, not play our best game, have 2 turnovers, and still win that game by 7 and not give up. We didn't give up an offensive touchdown.
No, 2 field goals.
Yeah, because I asked. I was in a space with an Oregon fan. They're like saying how we didn't look good in the game, and I said, okay, well, had Will Howard. I said, I'm not like here to say ifs, but Will Howard doesn't fumble that ball into the end zone. It's 28-17. Are you still saying the same thing? He said no. I said, then what are we talking about?
Yeah,
like it's like I thought that we played very good despite our own, like Will Howard almost trying to give the ball a game away, it seemed like. But even he didn't get down on himself. This is a headstrong team. It's a headstrong team. I'm very confident going into good grief, it's Purdue. But I'm very confident going into this Indiana game. We will talk about that on Wednesday.
Yeah, that stinks that game's before Michigan. Obviously, Michigan's not what they were.
No, I'm sorry. We won't talk about it on Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you guys got Purdue and Northwestern, right?
No, Purdue and then Indiana. No.
I think you have Northwestern.
No, Northwestern, Indiana, and then you guys.
Really nice. So you held them to 270 yards. The big stat is 3 for 11 on 3rd downs, too.
Yep.
So that will do it. You went 6 for 13. Which like that. Okay, so that right there, that's the money downs, going almost 50% on 3rd. I mean, it's not obviously not great, but that's like that the wins you games right there.
Yeah, it does. Hold them to. I'm sorry, we have 4.4 carry. We ran about 38 times, but they had 3.8 a carry. There were some tight calls in this game, man. Some tight calls. A lot of people bringing up that incomplete pass from Judkins, and what I need everyone to understand is this.
That was an incomplete pass.
Yeah, there's only two fan bases arguing that it's not: Penn State and Michigan fans. and
Well,
so yeah, except for you.
That was not.
So I feel like people need to understand this rule. You have to have the ball for more than one step. That shows that you have made a football move, as they say. He took one step with the ball. You also need to be able to turning your shoulders, as the rules analyst said. He didn't do that. He got hit as soon as he caught the ball. That's what happened. And everyone's trying to compare it to what happened when we played Clemson. The guy took 4 steps and then dropped the ball, people. You can't be that dishonest about this. And so, I mean, yeah, but you have that, the Davison play, and then I think there was one more play that had to be reviewed. But what a game by the Buckeyes. Very proud of them, happy with them. Shout out to Ryan Day. This was a game both coaches needed, but Ryan Day, had he lost his game, would have gotten the conversation around the conversations they're having right now about James Franklin would be tenfold for Ryan.
Yeah,
Day.
big time. So can we? Okay, let's take objectively. Unless you have anything else on your Buckeyes.
No, go ahead, man.
I do want to talk about that. So let's take a step back. All right, so you just beat them at their place, top 5 win. We don't play them this year, so we're completely. It doesn't matter to us.
Mm-hmm.
James Franklin. Do Penn State fans deserve to want him gone?
No.
Ooh, okay. Explain.
1, who are you gonna get? 2, it's not like they're Texas A&M, okay? They're getting these 10-win seasons. I think it's very hard to fire a coach when he's one of the best in the nation. And I understand for a lot of people it may be hard to hear that. James Franklin is one of the best coaches in college football. Top 15 at the worst. Top 15 at the worst. So I don't know, man. I think for a lot of things, it's a talent thing for them. When you have 3 receivers, Julian Fleming was their second leading wide receiver with the ball. He had 1 catch. They don't have the wide, they don't have the talent on the outside. They have the running backs. I think Drew Aller is I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's special, but he's someone you can win the game with. Dude, I don't know. Hold up. I think I can understand why a Penn State fan will want him gone after this long. Okay, well, he's been there for 11 years now.
2014 was his first season. It's 10 years.
So 10 years. 10 years. He's only beaten Ohio State once. So listen, I get it. I get it. But my only pushback is, who are you gonna get? And do you know they will be? And here's the thing: you have to know they're gonna be better than James Franklin. You have to know. Either they're gonna put out the same production, which is the reason why you're firing him, because of the current production. So you essentially have to hope that he's better. I don't know if you get that, and so yeah.
I mean, okay, all your points are fair. The point of, can you do better?
Or can you put the same production?
Or keep it the same production. So that becomes a question for Penn State fans. And this is, again, that's why I added the disclaimer before this. I don't care what happens at Penn State, but I'm just looking at it. What does Penn State, who does Penn State think that they are? What do they think they are? Do they think that they're a top 10 program?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because if you do, this isn't working, because he's been here for 10 years. You've tried all sorts of coordinators. Yeah, you can make the argument, oh, it would have been the playoff. It was a 12-team playoff every single season or nearly every single season. Sure, but you can't. He hasn't shown that he can win the big games. I mean, the record against you guys, you would think statistically he'd be able to get one or two more of those.
You should.
You should. And I don't know his record against Michigan. I know before 2020, I think it was even. It was like 500. And then since then, it was.
Probably only has like what, 2 wins?
He beat Michigan in 2020. So count that if you want. But both teams were 2-4 that year. And so it's like, all right, how much does that even mean?
Well, that's a wash.
That's a wash. So you've got Harbaugh a few times. Who's the next coach down in the conference? I don't know. I think if you're a Penn State fan, if you believe you're a top program, I think a change has to be made because I just don't think unless you're happy with this. And again, that's what it comes down to, your expectations. But to me, it's if I think I'm, the Joe Paterno, take out all the bad stuff, the glory years of Joe Paterno winning national championships, you're not there.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to win at this level. Because like, you can say the same thing about Ryan Day, but I mean, he's actually perfect in this sense because Ryan Day has never lost to an unranked team. James Franklin wins the games he's supposed to win. I think most of the games he's played where they're like top matchups, he's usually the underdog. Usually always is the underdog. But that also shows that you don't overcome.
Right.
I think Jim Harbaugh had a bad record against teams when he was the underdog also. But eventually he overcame. I think right now Penn State as a program is in a situation in terms of Ohio State where you guys were before 2021.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh lost 3 games in his career as the favorite. 2 of them were Michigan State. One of them was to Ohio State. I think it was in 18 or 19, whatever. I think it was.
That was 2008. That was 2018 when you guys were the favorite.
We were home, I think. Yeah, there was a home game. And then those are the 3 games he lost.
63 points.
Details are important. The rest, yeah, he eventually, but then he did have trouble against ranked teams for a while. And then all in all, he was able to get by. And so I'm very curious to see what Penn State does. I mean, it's 1 loss on the season. You lost to the number 2 team right now in the country, and you could finish out the season still very, very strong. And so it's not over yet. You don't fire him now. But I think at the end of the year, if they don't get in the playoffs.
No, they're going to finish 11-1. They're going to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, what's the rest of their schedule?
I know they play Maryland in the end of the year.
Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, Maryland. So
they're winning every single one of those games.
So they'll make the playoff, and so it'd be that playoff, that Big Ten conference picture is going to be interesting.
The Big Ten's getting 4 teams. We're getting 4 teams.
You think so? All right. Well, this is good. Well, let's save this as we get closer because some of this will play itself out. But yeah, you could talk about this for hours.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I wanted to touch on the Franklin thing. I think that's interesting. Good win.
But Ryan Day gets, by the way, Ryan Day is now over 500. He is now 9-8 against top 10 teams, by the way. So,
well, now he's what though? He's 2-6 against top 5. Is that what this is now?
2-6 or 2-7? 2-7.
Oh, that would have been so sweet to be 1-8.
What?
Shoot.
He is such a douche.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'll find a way to spin this against him. Don't worry.
No, but
right.
OH, baby, OH.
Our lives are a collection of experiences, moments of happiness or times of great loss. First homes, new babies, property loss, even heartache. Knowing that your insurance provider is always close by offers comfort. At Farm Bureau Insurance, the experience you get with our local trusted advisors is different. From financial security to a helping hand, Farm Bureau understands the experience matters. Find an agent who can protect what matters to you.
Shout out Dillon. The insurance, go to Dillon.
Real quick, before we get on, because it's going to lead into you, okay?
Yes.
whatever those play calls were in that final drive for Penn State, this is where James Franklin, I am going to hold him very accountable. And it's going to lead into something I say later about your coach. And maybe you will.
Okay.
Those plays had to come through your headset, and you had to give the okay. That is where James Franklin does have to take responsibility. I do want to say that.
Yeah, fair. We'll talk about that then. So, all right, Michigan loses to Oregon at home. A lot of things to talk about. One is I was pleasantly disappointed in that performance.
Explain.
There was grit, there was an effort from those guys, and the fact that Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham are still playing right now, and Colson Love are still playing, either tells you about those guys or about that program or both. I don't know, but I think that's fantastic. And I love the fight. I love the offense. Davis Warren, everything he's been through. He didn't have amazing stat line, but he still went 12 for 21 with 164 and 2 touchdowns.
I thought he did his job.
I think he's his job and then some. I mean, that first touchdown throw was incredible. Great catch by Tyler Morris. And the second one was our guy, Peyton O'Leary.
What a throw. No. What a throw on that. When I saw that, I said, oh my gosh. I said, I'm gonna hear about this one from Bryce.
And then the fact that we get in the red zone again and we run the trick play back from Samaj to Alex Orji, let Davis it didn't make sense. So we'll start there. The guys I thought gave it their all. Zeke Berry's lined out at corner just because we're injuries in the secondary just killed us. And you mentioned it, I think, or you tweeted from Scarlet and Blue Show about the depth. Thought it was absolutely 100% right. I mean, we're down at safety, down at corner. And I thought those guys just down at 2 corners. Yeah, Jair Hill was out too. And it just, man, the effort from those guys. And then to be so let down by the coaches is infuriating. We gave up 304 yards in the first half. 304 yards. And I'll say this, Oregon is the best team in the country. I don't think you can argue that right now. Best win. Dillon Gabriel is impossible to touch. And when he gets even a split second, he's going to put it there. His receivers are top notch. Tez Johnson, though, that sucks. I have no dog in the fight with them. And that sucks. Like
that was sad to watch.
Sad to watch. Seems like I think I saw he posted today, like a heartbreak emoji.
Looks like it's done for the season.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's a huge loss. And then in a game like this, all due respect to Michigan, it's like a game like this, that just kind of stinks that has to happen that way. So, yeah, I just think Oregon's a good team, but boy, oh boy, Wink getting taken to lunch. And then you have the penalties, like so second half, we stopped them. They're punting. And Dan Lane is on the sideline just laughing because he knows he's out coaching our staff. Puts his punter in punt formation, knows that the defensive tackle is lined up over the center because it's punt formation. It's just stuff like that, man. Oh my gosh. So that's why I say disappointed in the coaching staff, disappointed in the calls and the lack of preparation, but super pumped for the guys, pumped for guys like Davis. And at the end of the day, too, this is me being an optimist at the highest level. A lot of young guys getting playing time and a lot of defensive tackles getting some good action. Obviously, secondary. Josiah Edmonds in the game. That guy hasn't seen the field. Mason Curtis played a couple snaps a couple weeks ago. That doesn't help really this year, but that stuff pays dividends down the line. And so that's my optimistic approach from all of this.
That last play call on that goal line.
This is the throwback, the trick play.
Throwback. Yes. We have both been very critical of your offensive coordinator, Kirk Campbell. But just as I said for James Franklin, I'm about to hold Sharon Moore accountable for this. And I'm gonna hold him accountable for that first touchdown Oregon got.
We'll talk about that in a second, but yeah.
No. Well, no. Well, do you want? No. Let me get your thoughts now. I want to get into it.
I think my stance is always this, and Michigan fans criticize other coaches, criticize Ryan Day all the time for this. My stance is this: is that that's on the head coach to make sure that gets replayed, and Josh Hensky, right, with the M Go Blue whatever network he's part of. Like I quote tweeted him, and he responded with his own tweet, and he disagreed. And there's a lot of people not a lot of people, but a couple of people were like, no, that's not Sharon Moore. And yeah, in a sense, it's not on the head coach to be the one like watching closely for replays, but you have to have somebody on staff who's looking at that and that you can get the call down to you. And then you can make the move on that. I mean, we challenged incomplete
Good grief.
class. Like that was way worse. So it's like, all right, we can do it.
Yeah.
And you can't sit here and say, oh, it's not, it's on the officiating team. And yeah, it is on the officiating crew, but when the officiating crew fails or doesn't do their job sufficiently, then it's on the coach. And it's just like, well, you did that there. It didn't work, but then you're not gonna be upset when he doesn't do it there. So I always am of the mindset that the head coach has to be, you don't have to be aware of it in the game, but you have to have somebody on staff who can call that out and can flag it. Now, we can go down the whole route. Rich Eisen was disappointed in CBS. So my understanding is that the coaches have the game on TV in the booth. I don't think they have a feed. I think whatever the television show was on, CBS did not show the angle that they showed after the commercial break, which is super interesting. That they had the angle that showed was incompletion and they didn't show it. And if you remember, they called it a touchdown, and then Oregon did like that swinging gate on the PAT. So they wasted almost all of the play clock to get information on the PAT. So there was plenty of time to check all the different camera angles and then then relay that down to the field and say, we need to review this. And so I don't know, man. I put my conspiracy hat on quickly. Like they refused to call that, but then that feels a little extreme even for me. So,
well, here's my thing, and I'm not gonna go down my little rabbit hole how I feel about the Michigan fan base and not acting as if they're above reproach. But I remember that interception that happened for Oregon against Ohio State that never happened, and every single Oregon fan said at the end of the day, Dan Lanning has you gotta throw the flag. Bryce, I've been to the Big House close to 10 times. How many times have you been there?
I mean, upwards of 35 times.
On that big screen, I know for a fact they show every replay on that thing. They show every play on that thing. I know that for a fact. At the end of the day, you have a red flag in your pocket for a reason. I know that when plays like that happen, coaches look. Let's say it was a touchdown. Sharon Moore, as a head coach, is gonna look up at that screen and look at what happened, how did that happen, all that good stuff. There's no CBS does have to be liable for some of that because you gotta show the angles.
If you have them, you have to show.
If you have it. Maybe they didn't. But I'd be very, very, very pushed to say that they didn't have them.
Yeah.
But no, that's on Sharon Moore. And it baffles me that a lot of Michigan fans aren't able to blame him. And I'm gonna get to something after that. And then that play, and then I mean, do that play call, that throwback. Everyone wants to get on Kirk Campbell. Fine, that's cool. I don't blame you. Did Sharon Moore not hear the same play?
I would assume he did. Garrison.
So that play comes through, and in Sharon Moore's mind, that guy says to himself, "Oh man, we're gonna give the ball to Samaj Morgan and do a throwback in the back of the end zone. Oh, that's a great play call to make, dude. You could have had Dillon throw the ball for all I care. At least he's perfect. The guy's got the best QBR in college football history.
I know, dude. I don't know. It's just
but even more so, you just saw Davis Warren a few drives before that.
Game.
Like he goes and makes a great pass on the run. Put the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
And what do you have to lose? Wait, was Orgy on that play?
Yeah.
Why is he in the game?
He was who we throw it to.
There's just so wait. Your best offensive player is Colson Loveland.
Yes.
Your second best offensive player is arguably Donovan Edwards, Khalil Mullins, not including the offensive line. In terms of skill players.
Yep.
And you thought giving the ball to Alex Orji was the way to go. Samaj Morgan and Alex Orji were the ones that were going to decide whether you get within a score of the number one team in the nation. I'm not a Michigan fan, but bad coaching pisses me off.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. And I was watching. My guy Johnny Olden loved watching his show.
Shout out, guys! Awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Johnny. And there was someone I tweeted it out. Shout out to I forgot who said it, but I took this from you and tweeted it because I thought it was great. But this, and I actually put in quotations. So thank goodness I did that. But someone said in the chat, Sherrone Moore wants to be the cool uncle instead of being the stern dad, and that's exactly what he is. He's the cool, fun uncle.
Yeah, he was a fun OC before. Yeah.
Dude, when Kurt Campbell made that play call, he should have grabbed him by his shirt collar and said, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And it's just, I don't know, man. That's because in my mind, I'm watching this game, and I'm like, "Oh man, Michigan scores here."
Yeah,
because the worst thing you can do to an underdog, a severe underdog, is give them hope.
Yep.
That's the worst thing you can do. And at that time, you can't tell me that Michigan didn't feel like they had all the momentum in the world. Shoot, what did I say? It was like one of the first games we called on Friday. I said momentum has no friends. It doesn't. So,
yep.
Like that game, I'm not gonna blame any of the players on this. I'm not gonna. I thought the players can play better. That game, I'm not gonna say it was lost on the coaches.
100% was lost on the coaches.
No, because I think Oregon was gonna win that game no matter what. But
but in game, in the situations you could have won,
okay. I'm sorry. You are right. In the situations that you could win, when the players aren't playing well. What's even worse is when the coaches compile on that.
Yeah.
And that, I think, for as good as the players played in that game, more so than any other game this year, the coaches let them down.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
And I can give I don't care what happens to your guys' program. I don't care how hard you guys play. I really don't. Hellfire and brimstone.
Yeah.
but
as you should.
But at the end of the day, I do have respect for the players, and I don't like that they. Oh man, I don't know. I'm not gonna get myself worked up over what your guys gas. But
that would make me happy.
I can't stand bad coaching, and I'm sorry. Go ahead. No. Let me finish my rant.
Go ahead.
I'm within 20 seconds of being done. And I harken back to what Devin Gardner said Braylon Edwards said a few weeks back. He said when Sherrone Moore was hired, he didn't think that was the right hire because he's too emotional to be a head coach. Too emotional. And remember back, he based it off of that game when he started crying. And I said the same thing to you, and he feels the same, and Braylon Edwards feels the same way. That's not a guy that can be a head coach. I've doubled down, I've tripled down, now I'm gonna quadruple down. He is not a head coach. He's too emotional for it. After the game, he said he's not going to question the play caller. Then what the hell is what are you doing then? What's your job then?
Yeah. No, I mean, you're not going to throw your guy under the bus in the press conference.
No. I've seen Ryan Day do it. I've seen Urban Meyer do it. I've seen Jim Harbaugh do it.
No, I don't think those guys have ever thrown their staff under the bus.
It's not throwing you. I'm not throwing you under the bus. But what I can say is that was not the right play call. We should have came with something. We should have came with something better than that. There's nothing wrong with saying that. What your answer can't be is I'm not going to question the play caller. What's wrong with you? Are you the head coach or are you not? Now I'm done.
I
Thank
think
you.
the coaching or lack thereof really has been really frustrating. You look at Oregon went 10 for 15 on third downs. 10 for 15 on third downs. And now, second half before that last drive, we held them to like 76 yards. Or maybe it was less than 100 in the second half. And so there was adjustments that were made, which that's great, but now I just see that Jesse Minter held an NFL team to 10 points and didn't score till the last quarter. And so it's just, we were at one spot with a coach like that. Now we're here. But yeah, all that to say, the coaching, the change, Kirk he's got to go. He's got to go at the end of the season. I think
Wink's got to go.
Wink's got to go. Winks doesn't seem like he can adjust to the college game very well. And so I want to see
my brother.
Season's not over.
My brother, this is not about adjusting. That man's been fired from his last 2 NFL jobs. He's garbage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you asked me yesterday at halftime. I was furious. I had to go get pizza at halftime. And I was furious with Wink Martindale yesterday.
Yeah.
He made some adjustments. And again, he's down some guys. But I don't know, man. I don't know. We got Indiana this week, which just blew the doors off Michigan State without their court. I can't believe, I am shocked. Indiana doesn't make sense. That doesn't happen in sports, Garrison. They went 3-9 last year. They were 5.5 win, had a 5.5 win total going into the season. They were plus 20,000 to win the Big Ten. I don't even know what their playoff odds were. I don't think they had playoff odds. And now this team is the top of the Big Ten, and they're having a showdown with you guys in a couple weeks. And they have us. I don't know who they have after us.
It's a 2-game season. Well, actually, I'll be honest with you. It's a 1-game season for them now. It's a 1-game season for them.
Yeah. They have Maryland. Yeah, they have us, and then they have you. Or they have us, a bye, then you, and then Purdue. So yeah.
Are they gonna bye before us?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, and as of today, number 8 team in the nation.
They should, yeah.
And that's ridiculous to me. Why Tennessee's ahead of them is, I think they will blow Tennessee's doors off.
Oh, 100%.
I think if they play Penn State today,
dude, they went to East Lansing and they were 10-point favorites, and a lot of people were picking Michigan State. It's like Michigan State's look good this season, tricky place to play at home. Well, Spartan Stadium's not a hard place to play, but
depending,
it's just it's a rivalry game, I guess, in other ways too. And they
were
down 10-0.
It is a rivalry game.
Yeah, they have a trophy. I think it's the Spittoon.
Yeah.
And they were down 10-0. And then they won 47-10. I was shocked.
I couldn't believe it.
All right, that's good football talk, man. That's good football talk. Here's the other thing too. Michigan, they're recruiting. Yeah. What is this? You know me. I don't pay attention to recruiting like you guys do.
Yeah. Somebody backed up the Brinks truck. Now I will say this: that wasn't that was a better showing than I thought you guys would have.
Yes,
I think in terms for recruiting, that was a good showing.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah. I saw a lot of Buckeye fans trolling and saying that why would you ever want to go? But I think you're looking at it the wrong way. I think you look at it as you did? Yeah.
Well, in the first half I did because it was looking ugly.
Yeah, I think now you can say like, all right, we got some fight, and then there's opportunity to play right away if you guys want to come in and play. So, one other thing I want to call out too.
Yeah, go ahead.
We didn't do picks, which that's on us.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm looking at my picks right now. I was wrong on Army Air Force.
Yep.
I took the 21. I took no. I took Air Force plus. I have Air Force plus 21.5. And that score was. I know they covered because I think it was like 20-3. Okay. We disagreed on UGA Florida. You got that right.
Thank you. That was what I was going to bring up, but thank you. Yep.
Which, by the way, we'll see what the rankings look like on Tuesday for the playoff. We should be ahead of Georgia.
Agreed. I don't think that shouldn't even be a conversation.
And everyone's saying, well, they beat some better teams. I said, okay, well, I think the lesser teams are very comparable. We've played with our food once, and that was last week against Nebraska. And I'm not gonna. And I'm sorry. Was Alabama not up 28-0 on them? I don't know. I think for all the talk that Will Howard got, I think we have a better quarterback than them. We have a better running back than them. O-line, both of them are kind of whatever, and we have a better defense than them. I think we're a better team than Georgia.
Let's play the game. So their win, I think is better than your win, your best win. But I think then their second best win has got to be Clemson. Maybe Kentucky on the road, but
Clemson shouldn't be ranked. Clemson should not be ranked.
No, that was bad yesterday. And Florida lost their quarterback, and Florida was up in that game.
But there's games like Kentucky. They gave up 31 to Mississippi State.
So then your guys' best win is Penn State. Second best win, is it Iowa or Nebraska?
No,
or Michigan State. It's close.
My thing is, I've seen this team play with their food too many times. I haven't seen. Let me check that. Do you have a Ohio State schedule pulled up right now?
I do.
Have we given up 20 to anyone not named Oregon?
No, Nebraska. You gave up 17.
Okay, cool. That's all I need to know. I saw them give up 31 to Mississippi State.
Yeah,
and again, you were down. Alabama is a fringe playoff team, and you were down 28-0 on them, and you still lost.
Yeah, it was at Alabama, but I think you should be too.
We played at Penn State and at Oregon.
Yeah, I think you guys should be too.
And the Penn State game we won, dominated. The Oregon game was winnable.
Your loss is better than their loss. Yes,
but just going back, Kentucky, Tennessee. I said under 45.5. The score was 28-18. I didn't get that. That's 46 points. So, oh my gosh, that's aggravating. That's just aggravating. Coastal Carolina and Troy. I had Coastal Carolina at 3.5. Garrison Gaddy, did you get that one? Let me see if I can find it.
All right, folks.
Oh no,
Garrison. These don't count because you get them on the show. But
yeah. Oh, by the way, the one that you disagreed with me on, South Carolina and Texas A&M.
Oh yeah, I had Aggies.
Oh boy,
yikes.
Oh boy. Shout out to all your Aggie friends down in Texas, Bryce, that you have. Shout out to them. Free money, baby. Let's go.
Not good. Not good.
And I mean, by the way, before we get going, I mean, dude, look at the that top 25 from like number 8 to 25 just looks crazy to me.
Yeah, it does. It does. All right, good stuff. Good show. Go Blue.